There's no shortage of fan theories when it comes to which characters may be introduced into the MCU in the upcoming phases of the franchise. It's fun to speculate, and regardless of who you're rooting for, it seems that there's a promising future as far as superheroes are concerned in terms of new additions. That being said, not all heroes in the Marvel Universe in the comics are quite suitable for the big screen. This is because they're either too abstract, their powers are too vague, or because another existing character already stole their thunder. So today we're diving deeper into this depressing truth with our list of the top 10 superheroes who are impossible to adapt into the MCU. Now this list is a combination of superheroes and cosmic entities in the Marvel Universe that are seen as forces of good, so just something to keep in mind. Starting us off in at number 10, HYPERION. HYPERION is a superhero who's had multiple iterations over the years. For starters, his first appearance was as a member of the Squadron Sinister, a villainous team that was based on the Justice League from DC Comics, with HYPERION being a loose parody of Superman. He was later reimagined as an alien who was raised by the government, having been sent to Earth in a spacecraft as a child. Where does that sound familiar? He was found by the US government and trained into a covert agent. In addition to that, his powers are very similar to the Man of Steel's. Even his weaknesses feel like a different take on kryptonite. His powers and energy are diminished when he's exposed to something called argonite radiation. Yeah. So, obviously Hyperion's similarities to Superman are the reason why this character would be difficult to adapt. Imagine the press storm over it. Plus, Marvel Studios has done a great job at depicting flawed superheroes so far, and adding a Superman type to that roster might feel a little overbearing. In at number 9, the One Above All. The One Above All is responsible for the existence of all life in the multiverse, and possibly beyond that. It's omnipotent, and above all other cosmic powers and abstract entities, including the Living Tribunal, who it is said to be the overseer of. The One Above All first appeared in Marvel Comics in 2007, in Sensational Spider-Man Volume 2 Issue 40, and is also known as Above All Others. Its abilities are beyond any known system of abilities, same as its strength levels. So with a character that abstract, considering that we're potentially getting a glimpse of the Living Tribunal in Avengers Endgame, it seems unlikely that the MCU would be eager to introduce something of such immense power, especially since the Living Tribunal was the one who fit the bill as exactly that for decades and decades prior to the One Above All even being introduced. In at number 8, the Vishanti. Similar to our last number, the Vishanti are pretty abstract entities. They are a trio of godlike beings, made up of Hoggoth, Agamotto, and Oshtur. Each of their histories are made up of really intense lore that intertwine with other entities and gods in the Marvel Universe. Oshtur was one of the Elder Gods, one of the first life forms ever created when the Demiurge, the planet's sentient biosphere, breathed life into the world. Hoggoth is the last survivor on an ancient alien pantheon, and Agamotto is the child of Oshtur. All that being said, the Vishanti are patrons of the Sorcerer Supreme, and there have been connections via Doctor Strange to them that have made their way into the MCU. That being said, exploring them further than that seems incredibly unlikely, since they are so separate from the rest of the Marvel Universe and have only ever really made cameos from time to time. But this also seems like a case of never say never, so who knows, maybe they'll show up in an upcoming Doctor Strange film after all. And at number 7, Superior Spider-Man. If you're unfamiliar with the character, the Superior Spider-Man is not Peter Parker. It's Otto Octavius in Parker's body. So once upon a time in the comics, Octavius was dying and decided to switch bodies with Peter Parker so he could live, all by swapping their consciousness into one another. Parker didn't see it coming and was trapped in Otto's body, ultimately consumed by his illness, and died. Otto then took over Peter's life and the Spider-Man persona, calling himself the Superior Spider-Man, because he felt he was superior. The storyline got some major backlash, and Parker was eventually returned, with Otto learning a few important lessons in the process. Naturally, based on the criticism, it seems unlikely that Marvel Studios would ever want to recreate that storyline up on the big screen, especially when Spider-Man actor Tom Holland has quickly become adored amongst audiences. And at number 6, Hercules. Marvel's take on Hercules has always been considered a great one. Plucked out of Greek mythology and into the panels of modern-day comics, Hercules has played an avid role in the universe, including participating during the first Civil War story event. He's also acted as a good inclusion in Thor's storylines from time to time, but that is exactly why we won't likely see him up on the big screen. Thor pretty much has the market on superheroes rooted in mythology. That's not to say we won't ever see other mythologies pop up in the MCU, but right now it kind of seems like it might be adding unnecessary components into the universe. In addition to that, Hercules is a character who has had a ton of portrayals over the years, including in the animated Disney one. It would seem likely that Disney wouldn't want to confuse the two in case they ever want to revamp their animated one into a live action story like some of their other classic tales. And at number 5, Origin. Origin is a fascinating cosmic entity. It's been charged with creating the origins of various events in the universe and the origins of superpowered beings. It is claimed to be the one who conjured the cosmic storm that gave the Fantastic Four their power. powers. It has also claimed to have been the one who made it possible for Thor and the Asgardians to find their way to Earth. It chose who would become a mutant, and it planted the locations of Earth in the minds of the Silver Surfer, Galactus, and the Skrulls. It defies laws of physics, and it can retroactively alter reality without creating diverging timelines. All in all, it's basically a catalyst version of Deus Ex Machina personified, a cosmic plot device if you will. It first appeared in 1991's QUASAR issue 18 and for the most part was involved in the Cosmic Heroes stories, so it's safe to say that the chances of us ever seeing Origin make its way into the MCU are slim to none. Moving on to number 4, QUASAR. Speaking of, let's take a look at QUASAR, the cosmic superhero. QUASAR, aka Wendell Vaughn, became a superhero after putting on the quantum bands, which gave him superb powers and the ability to tap into a luminous energy source called the quantum zone. There has been multiple individuals who have taken up the mantle as well. So why does QUASAR not stand a chance at getting an MCU adaptation? Well, the character has a lot of similar traits to others who already exist in the MCU, especially Captain Marvel and Star-Lord. We know that the Nega bands are something that will never likely see the light of day in the MCU either, since their origin with Marvel's Captain Marvel doesn't seem like it'll ever be explored. So, in that case, why would the quantum bands ever be explored? And we already have a quantum realm. Do we want to throw 2 more quantum things into the mix? Plus, if the reports are true and a Nova feature film is in the works down the pipeline, there is a very good chance that QUASAR will be ignored altogether for the sake of being redundant and unoriginal. Tough luck, Wendell. And at number 3, SENTRY. SENTRY's got a similar problem to HYPERION. He's very much a Superman type, although much more flawed. SENTRY, aka Robert Reynolds, starts off as a middle-aged overweight man who remembers out of the blue that he is the Sentry, a superhero with the power of 1 million exploding suns. He realizes that his arch-nemesis, the Void, is returning, so he attempts to warn several prominent Marvel superheroes, only to discover that no one remembers who the Sentry is. As he approaches each of them, they remember him, all having a specific recollection. Sentry had taught Angel how to conquer his fear of falling. A photo of him won the Pulitzer Prize for Peter Parker, and the Hulk apparently still recalled him, but as the Golden Man. Mr. Fantastic then remembers what happened. Sentry and the Void are actually 2 halves, one and the same, and Reynolds had erased his memory and the memory of everyone else on Earth in order to prevent the Void from coming, as a way to protect everybody. Sentry is a character who is omnipotent, immortal, can warp reality, manipulate on a molecular level, can teleport, has a regenerative healing factor, and of course superhuman strength, speed, stamina, the whole darn package. He's arguably even stronger than Superman himself, so a character with powers that immense would likely require some sort of lead up, similar to how the MCU set the stage for Thanos and the Infinity Gauntlet. While Sentry isn't impossible to adapt, it would create a lot of repercussions in the MCU that could arguably disrupt the kind of storytelling that Marvel Studios has set up over the last 10 years. Another reason why we'll never see Sentry appear in an MCU film, or at least have a proper adaptation of him, is that his origin story is so steeped in self-reflexive retconning that in order to truly tell his origin story, it would likely cost Marvel Studios and Disney a whole lot of money on cast and visual effects alone, raising the question, would a Sentry feature film be worth it after all? And at number 2, Namor. Namor the Submariner is arguably one of the biggest players in the Marvel Universe. He's the king of Atlantis, or you know, at least Marvel's Atlantis. Anywho, he is one of the publisher's oldest characters, being the OG anti-hero and also technically a villain when he first popped up in Timely Comics' Motion Picture Funnies Weekly back in 1939. The hero with a short fuse has been a member of the Avengers, the X-Men, the Cabal, the Defenders, and most importantly, the Illuminati. So why hasn't he appeared in the MCU? Or at least have some sort of mention of him? Well, that's because the rights to the character are a bit complicated at the moment. Universal allegedly still holds the rights over distribution for Namor. While Marvel's chief creative officer Joe Quesada has stated a few years ago that he believed Marvel Studios got the rights back, he does have a bit of a history of crying wolf on that specific topic, having been proven wrong a few years prior about Namor's rights. Marvel Studios have remained silent on the issue as well. So it seems that there's still some fussing that needs to be taken care of before we get to see Marvel's King of Atlantis make an appearance on the big screen. And finally, in at number 1, the MICRONAUTS. The MICRONAUTS are a superhero team that first appeared in the pages of Marvel Comics in 1979 with their own self-titled solo series. They're based off of the Mego Micronauts toy line, and the comic existed long after the toys themselves were cancelled, carrying on to 1986, with other publishers then getting the rights in the early 2000s. These heroes originate in the Microverse, aka the Quantum Realm, a name change that Marvel Studios had to make because they don't actually own the rights to it. It's for that very reason that we'll never see the Micronauts in an MCU film. Hasbro Studios and Paramount Paramount owned the rights for a live-action movie, having announced in December 2015 that it was actually in development. Despite that, the Microverse has a very long history in Marvel Comics, with it first appearing in a 1943 issue of Captain America Comics in a two-part story titled The Princess and the Atom. Back then, it was a subatomic world known as Mita. Later, the name would be defined when the Fantastic Four visited it in the 1963's Fantastic Four issue 16. Alright, there we have it, friends. What other superheroes or good cosmic entities in the Marvel Universe do you think would be difficult to adapt on the big screen? Give us a shout in those comments below and let us know your thoughts. If you dug this video, spread the love, hit that like button, and be sure to subscribe to Top 10 Nerd for more lists just like this one. Plus, we have an Instagram account now that you should totally check out. We'll be using it for giveaways and posting behind the scenes pictures, so give it a follow and see what we're up to. In the meantime though, thanks for watching, friends. I'll catch you all in the next video.